In this video, I'm going to show you how to put together all Jandy pool equipment right after the winter. Here we have a Jandy pump. It doesn't matter what pump you have, there should be 2 drain plugs. And if they've closed it properly, whoever closed it, it should be in here. There should be other parts in there too, but we only have this. So there's going to be 2 plugs. And you just got to find them. Before you put them on, make sure that the O-ring that's on it, make sure it's there and it's not cracked. So just leave the lid off for now. Clean out the basket if there's anything in there. Like I said, there should be way more parts in this. There should be a plug for the heater. We'll leave that just like that, and we'll go to the filter. So here we have a Jandy cartridge filter. Even if you have a sand filter, that'll be on the next video. So here we have the bottom piece. Make sure that's up like that. And there's a wider opening. There's only one opening like that. Just like that. And then put your filters in. O-ring, make sure it's not cracked. If this is cracked at all, replace it. And we're going to grease that up. I'll link this grease down below that we use. Any O-rings, it's good for everything. Next we have this piece. One goes in one way. For this Jandy cartridge filter, I'm going to link down below all the parts for this. Now this piece here, you got to inspect this. A lot of times they're crushed right in or they're cracked. You got to replace this if you see it cracked or crushed right in. Next is the large O-ring. Make sure that this is not cracked at all the dirt's off, clean it all off good. Use that same grease it up before you put it on. See how like on all the way around that lip? And make sure that all this stuff is cleaned up. So you go around, clean this all up good, all this here, and same as for the top underneath, because you don't want to put this all together and it's leaking there because there's one little piece of dirt there. So make sure that lip and the O-ring's all cleaned up. O-ring is on, and we can put the top on. When this goes on, it should go on like just sit right in there. If there's any gaps and the O-ring's not sitting on there properly. See, I can feel it not sitting in there. See right there? So let's see what's going on there. Okay, push down. There you go, everything's seated in there. Next is the band. I just tap around so it comes together. Next piece. And you can also put some grease on this thread too. It's pretty greased up already. But it shouldn't be dry and tight. Watch this piece here. Goes up and down like that, not sideways. $14mm. I just leave the wrench on there just in case it leaks once I get it started. So if it leaks at all, we can give it a little tweak. You can't tighten it too much, just snug. Now find down the road, this is a newer filter, so there's a gap here. Now you don't have to put the gap together, it's just each place is going to be different. So Over time, what I find is that this strap will end up touching each other down the road. But this filter is pretty new. Next, top gauge, if it's off. Again, make sure that this O-ring is not cracked at all. Put a little bit of grease on that. And when you put this on here, don't over tighten, it's just snug. Okay, you want to point that away from the electrical if you can. If that's open, we want it closed right now anyway. Next, the bottom drain plug. This was off, so you're going to take this off and make sure that there's a gasket. Right there. Again, cracks. Put a little bit of grease on there if you want. This is a brand new filter, so it's a little bit greased up. Put that back on. Now, if you don't have one of these for your pool, I'll link it down below. You have to get one of these. It's a little bit smaller than the bigger wrenches, and it opens up pretty big and goes a small one. There's a 2-pack, and there's one for smaller ones. We want to tighten that just snug, okay? Because we're just opening, since you have this in your hand, just a little tweak on everything. Just go around so you know it's done. Okay, a little tweak. Same as the pump. So for this pool, the heater. So we have a Jandy heater. We've got a salt cell on this one. So this particular heater, there's only one drain plug, and it'll be on this manifold right here. Now I'm not sure if they actually took it off at closing. Make sure that's off at closing. It's going to be the same as your Jandy pump. It's right there on the bottom. Now, whoever closed the pool, make sure that's off. So somebody forgot to take it off. So water could be in there, maybe, and crack something in the heater. Closing, you got to make sure that's off. So that's where this plug would go anyway. And normally they're plastic, not the steel ones. Steel ones would be on some of the Hayward pumps. There'd be usually about 3 of them, 2 on one side and then 1 on the other. So I'm going to add water. You can start priming it. Now if you have a cartridge filter, make sure the air is off. You put all this stuff back together. You're ready to go, you're just ready to prime it. Again, if you're a new swimming pool owner, you have to watch a couple of videos to find the equipment that's actually suits yours. But if you have a cartridge filter, it pretty much applies to all cartridge filters. How to clean them, how to put them together. You'll get the basics down pat. But I'll link it down below on how to take, if you have one like this, it's the Jandy cartridge filter. I'll link it down below for that video. This is a brand new pump, but you gotta make sure the gasket's good. It's not cracked at all. And if you can get some grease in there and put a little bit of grease, I'll link that grease down below. Any O-rings you have that's visible like this, you're going to take it on and off. Just easier to take this on and off through the summer. Alright, so we'll get the cap back on. And we'll turn it on. So you might have to prime it again, put some more water in it. If it doesn't catch. This pool here might have an issue with it priming. It'll take longer. Because there's a shut-off valve. If there's a shut-off valve in front, where a suction goes in, then you can shut that off, fill that up. You put the lid back on, turn the power on, and then really quickly open that up, and it'll pull it up. This one here, it has nothing all the way down into the ground. So we might have to put a shut-off valve in there. Just easier to prime. Open it up again. I'm just going to run that in there because it's running back. So if you're having an issue, make sure you have a shut-off valve. Even if you have a shut-off valve, make sure it's off. Fill this up to the top, put the lid on it, turn the power on, and really quickly turn that ball valve back on, and it'll pull the water up. So here I'm just, it's just flowing back into the pool, just going back. So I'm just trying to fill up a line that maybe underground, it's looped in there. So I'll let it run for a bit, see if it comes back. Now if it starts coming back and filling up that pump basket, then I can put the lid on and start it again really quickly. So we're gonna have to do this quick, so I think it's just gonna fill up the pool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the hose, put the lid on quickly, and then turn it on quickly. Make sure the lid's on properly though. Now if you see a rush of water go whoosh right back in, that's a good sign. Water's starting to come in there, that's a good sign. And if you see the pink stuff, if you had it closed, like the antifreeze, you know that the skimmer was done right also. Once it's gone fully. See, a lot of people think that they can't see anything here. I get calls all the time. See, there's doesn't look like it's moving. There's no water in it. They'll say, no, there's no water. But it's full. So we know everything's running really well. There's no bubbles coming in. There's no bubbles anywhere. Normally you'll see a bubble right at the top here. But it's the way you want to see it. So once you get everything going, if you have a cartridge filter, you gotta let the air out. And as soon as the water comes out, close it. Inspect all around this band. See if it's leaking. If it's leaking, you got to redo this. Take it all apart and everything else. If you have any parts that you don't know where it goes, say you had one plug, you don't know where it goes, you looked everywhere. What you can do is just get it started, and you'll find out very quickly if you get it started where the water's coming out, where the plug goes. I do it all the time, especially on heaters, because they're all over the place on heaters. They could be anywhere. Could be underneath, could be, you know. So I just start it up, and wherever the water comes out, that's where the plug was supposed to be. Now, if you have any questions about this video or your particular pool, send us a comment down below, and we'll get a hold of you as soon as possible. And make sure to like and subscribe, because it keeps my channel going.